We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now. Let's move closer.
Yeah, so I'll just quickly run through the ingredients that I'm going to use, and then I'll make a start. So I've got some sunflower oil. That's just to shallow fry the chicken to cook it. You can deep fry it or you can do it in the oven, but we didn't want to use the deep fat fryers, so we're just going to shallow fry them in a frying pan. We've got some mayo and some garlic, because you can't have a Parmo without garlic mayo. Then we've got some potatoes, because I'm just going to do some homemade oven chips. We've got an egg that we're going to use to stick the breadcrumbs on the chicken. We've got some milk that we're going to make the white sauce with for the actual top of the chicken and for the leeks, because we're going to make some creamed leeks as well to go with it. Obviously we've got the chicken breasts. We've got 3 there, so we've got 1 each. I've got the butter to make the white sauce. I've got Ross just picked up a cheap loaf that I'm just going to use to make the breadcrumbs. We've got plain flour as well for the white sauce and cheese for the top. And that's everything I think we need. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to do the leeks first. I'm going to get them chopped down, rinse them, and then I'll get them in a pan and start cooking them. And then I'll do this. Right, so I'm just going to start and chop the leeks and pop them in the colander. I'll speed this bit up so you're not just sat watching me.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back now.
So I've chopped all the leeks. I'm just going to give them a good rinse now, and then I'm going to pop them on a low heat, like the lowest heat that I can put them on, and I'm just going to leave them to soften just in a bit of butter and a little bit of olive oil. I'll give them a rinse, and I'll come back to you. Pop some butter. Good knob of butter. I'll just add in just a little drop of olive oil just to stop the butter burning. And then I'm just going to put it on a very low heat. Pop the leeks in, and then I'm just going to leave them to cook down. So just give them a stir, and then I'm just going to leave these for probably about 10-15 minutes. We'll come back to them in a few minutes, see how they're getting on. Right, I'm just going to use a little mini food processor, and I'm just going to blitz some of this white bread up and just make some... Here's Caden.
Caden return.
Does Caden come well cook?
I mean, I'll help if you want me to.
Right. Just need to blast all this up. Right, I'll...
The white one.
The what's on?
Is it the white?
Yeah. Right, I'll blitz this bread. I'll speed it up while I'm doing it, because obviously it'll make a racket. What I'm going to do now, I've just blitzed up a load of the bread into there. I'm going to just blitz a bit more up, and then I'm just going to put them in this bag just for, just if I run low. So the leeks are just cooking down, so I'm just going to leave them carry on for a little bit longer till they're cooked. I've blitzed up most of the little loaf. We've got some in here, and then we've got some spares for the tops. So Ross is just battering the chicken breasts down, just so they're like the scallops really. And once he's done all 3 of the chicken breasts, I'll come back and I'll show you what we do to them after that, and we're just going to coat them in breadcrumbs. Batter it down. If you haven't got like one of the meat tenderizers, you can just use a rolling pin or something like that. No, it looks huge. It's way too big for me, that little mini one for me. But yeah, so that's the first one done. So I'll come back to you when we're breadcrumbing them. The leeks are, you can see the leeks are nearly cooked now, so I'm just going to make a start on my white sauce. Right, so the leeks are cooked now, so I've just turned them off the heat. I'm just going to leave them then. I'm just going to make a start on the white sauce, the bechamel sauce. So I'm just going to, now I know a lot of people make their like white sauces differently, and they do the like roux differently, and mine might not be the traditional way of doing it, but it's just the way I've always done it. So, and it works, and we never have lumpy sauce, so I'm just going to do it my way. I'm just going to start with quite a decent amount of butter because I want quite a lot of sauce, and I'm just going to start by melting that down, and then I'll add some flour. Right, so I've melted down the butter, and I can't give you really exact measurements for this because it's just, I just do it by eye really. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to add quite a few, probably about 4 decent heaped spoons of, just poured it everywhere, flour. So I'm just going to stir that into the butter. Now I know some people like cook the flour down while it's actually like this, but to be honest, I've just always done it the way my mum showed me, and this is just how we've always done it. So it's probably, like you say, not the right way, but it works. I'll just start gradually adding some milk and just I mean, it probably seems like there's an awful lot of flour in there at the minute, but because we're using it for the leeks and the 3 Parmos, you do actually need quite a bit. Right, so just add some more. So yeah, so just gradually adding this milk. So now I'll just stir it constant. I'm just going to swap my spoon out. I prefer this little spoon. Right, so yeah, so I'll just turn it up a tiny bit, and then I'll just keep stirring it until it starts thickening.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without.
Right, so yeah, so I'll just turn it up a tiny bit, and then I'll just keep stirring it until it starts thickening.
Take my hand and we will conquer the world. This is our final chance.
It looked like it's going to be lumpy, but I promise you it won't be.
No telling where it goes. Driving through days
And there you can see there how like thick it is now. So I'll just need to add some more water and thin it back down.
the sky is falling down. Yeah. The sky is falling down.
Right, so I'm going to turn that off the heat now. I'm going to transfer some of it into this bowl to go on top of the chicken. And like I say, I'm just going to put the rest in the leeks.
Sky's falling down, yeah. Sky's falling down.
Ross has just made the garlic mayo, and all that is just about 5. Did you use about 5 cloves of garlic? Yeah. About 5 cloves of garlic, and just mayonnaise. And we'll put that to one side as well. As you can see, this is not probably, it's definitely not up there with the healthiest meals. So these are just the chicken that Ross battered out. And then I'm just going to dip them in the egg, dip them in the breadcrumbs, give them a good coating, and then I'm just going to stack them up on this plate.
I've tried, written down the words to say, it is time. I've been waiting.
I don't know why you're recording.
So that's all the chicken battered now and breaded. The next thing we need to do, I'm just going to start the chips, and then I'm going to par cook them a little bit in a pan just to get them started. And then we'll pop them in the oven, and then we'll cook the chicken.
When you touch my hand, it all goes away. The things I planned, the things I would say, now I keep rambling on. I sound so cliche. What I am trying to do is say I love you.
Yeah, so we've just got the pan of chips cooking now for 10 minutes, and I'm just going to quickly tidy up, and then I'll come back to you when we're about to start cooking the chicken. And
You don't know how I shiver inside. Doesn't show, but my nerves are inside.
Life is a winding.
And that's that one cooked, but like you say, we're going to pop that in the oven, and then I'll come back to you at the end when we're putting them all together. Right, so I've just actually started this. We've moved the chips into the oil because they were just taking forever in the oven to cook. So I've just started now putting on the... It doesn't look very...
If I will ever figure out where the road goes, even if I'm falling.
And that's our final finished Parmo. It hasn't really melted very evenly in our grill. I think probably because it's so huge. And obviously he's got his leeks and his chips, and I did dribble a bit on the chips with the leeks. But
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feel